Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Graybeards. My name's Wayne, and to my left over here, my good friend Bug.
What's
Morning,
up?
happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Wayne Skit, and to all our fathers that's listening to
Hmm.
the show and potential fathers. Got
Yep.
one in the oven.
Yeah, I
Or
thought I
thinking,
thought I would. I thought I'd put a picture of my dad here. I don't remember what year this was. It's been a few years ago. I don't even remember where we were at or what we were doing. There's some random guy. There's some random guy
yeah,
over here. Got caught up
I
in
don't see
himself.
the guy. Oh, I see some guy in the background. Yeah, who's the other guy
Yeah,
to the left?
this guy here,
Yeah.
that's me.
Wow, you look good. Look
Me and
different
my
with her.
my bride right here.
Okay, slide. There you go.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. My dad here in a couple days. He's going to be 86.
Uh-huh.
He'll be 86 this year.
Gotcha. How tall is your dad?
I think he's like 5'11".
Okay. What y'all about the same? You about six. You look like you about 6 feet and some inches. But
Yeah,
you like
somewhere in. I'm a close. The camera is misleading. I'm closer to the camera, so I'm
your
holding my
pops in a
phone out.
bit.
I'm doing that selfie thing, trying to get everybody in the
Yeah.
picture. You know.
He seemed like I see his mustache and beard is groomed. Was he a well-groomed man?
Yeah, for the most part, he always did. He'd get scruffy and then he'd clean himself up. Mom would get fed up with him and make him clean himself up. I'm trying to remember
Okay.
where this was at, to be honest with you. I have no idea. Of course, he's
Mm-hmm.
sporting his Chevrolet hat, I don't know if you can see that there. I should have put
Gotcha.
I don't think I have a Chevrolet hat.
I got one. I should have, if I'd have known, I'd have probably put it on.
Yeah, well, you keep wearing that weird looking star thing you got on there. I don't
Represents
even know what that
America.
is. It's gray and what is
It's
that?
a throwback. You know what I'm saying? You see these guys with the old glory, faded glory. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? How fitting. Faded glory.
mm.
I know one of our listeners is just rolling over in his bed right now.
Yeah. I'm sure is it's been an interesting week, I will tell you, in the world. Um,
Definitely.
it's definitely been, obviously today is Father's Day. I don't know. I will give my dad a call, and I think I got a card out there from I think my oldest daughter sent me a card. My youngest one, I think she's going to be here this week. Um, no real plans. It's just another day to me, to be honest with you. Um,
As the world turns, bro.
hmm that's right. As the world turns, it's been crazy. What are you
So
gonna
are
you
the
you
games.
gonna go out for dinner tonight or something with your
Oh,
girls?
I
They're gonna
have
take
no idea. I know
what?
Peaches told me she was coming over. Peaches said, Dad, I got you a gift for Father's Day, and I'm gonna bring it over. I said, that
Yeah,
sounds good. Make sure it's late in the afternoon because I'll be doing some father stuff.
yeah. Well, what did talking about Father's Day? What did you typically? Did you? I'll give you my take on Father's Day. Um, After did you ever do anything with your dad on special on Father's Day that he wanted to do, or pre-adult
You
life,
know,
right? Before you became.
pre-adult life? Yeah, definitely. My mom was like, hey, it's Father's Day. It was gonna be Father's Day, and she would take us shopping.
Mhm.
We had to pick something out for Pops, and usually with some socks or a tie or something. We was nonchalant about a pack of Fruit of the Loom underwear. That was what was popular. But this one particular Father's Day, I decided to venture out on my own. I was about 13 years old.
Mhm.
I said, Pops, give me $5. This is Father's Day, right? Give me
Hmm.
$5. I want to go buy you something. He was like, you
Yeah.
want to buy me something with my own money? I
Hmm.
said, yep. I thought I was doing something noble until I became a father. I realized it was a hack.
Hmm.
So he gave me the money. I went down to this store. I walked down there. It was only about a half mile. I went down there. There was a knife that I wanted that was in the store. So I bought the knife. They let me buy it. Back in the day, they let me buy this knife. They had these knives in a case. And
Yeah.
I bought it and I took it to Pops. It was one of those. My friend died with a switchblade knife. It was a knife that popped out when you hit the darn thing. So I took it to
Oh,
him and said,
dang.
Happy Father's Day. Yeah. It wasn't a true switchblade with it just clicked out. That's all. It didn't come out of the center. So I said, Happy Father's Day. He's like, boy, you didn't buy this knife for me. I should have seen the shock look on my face, like he could read my mind. He said, you bought this knife for you. He was right, because I
Because
wanted
you.
that knife.
Mhm.
And he was like, you know what? He scolded me a little bit. And then he says, here, you can have it. I said, thanks, Pops. I appreciate it. My most
I-
memorable Father's Day was a non-Father's Day. It was a Sunday.
mhm.
So that was otherwise it was Fruit of the Loom and some ugly time.
I, t- I am terrible at, I don't have any real memory of Father's Day things that we would do from with my dad or for my dad on Father's Day. I
Hmm.
I sat there and I was like, what have I now give me I'm talking pre-adult, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't, as a kid, we didn't think about that stuff, you know.
No.
And and if my mom didn't push the issue,
Hmm.
we would, my dad was always working, man. He was always, for the most part, he was always gone, whether
Yeah.
working, you know, once in a while we do certain things, but as a child growing up, to my dad, it was just another day. He was always doing what he did to make sure we had, you know, the necessities of life, if you will, roof over our head, clothes on our back, food in our belly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he left most of everything else up to my mom to do everything, run the house and do everything. So,
Hmm.
um, good on him. You know,
Hey, he did. Hey, man. Yeah. You hit a lot of groceries, Wayne. So sure he had that work.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
my little big brother, he makes me look tiny.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
big dude. My brother.
They nicknamed me the hog.
Let.
Because like at dinner, right after we finished eating, y'all dog me now about eating so slow, but that wasn't always the case. I used to
Wow.
inhale my food when I was a kid. It was over, and I'm sitting there like a vulture waiting on scraps.
Hmm.
And one day we were sitting at the table, right, and my mom, my dad was talking with two brothers. They done went on. I guess they got their fill, but the hog was still hungry. So Pop, Pops, Pop stopped talking to my mom, right? And he looked at me, right? And he
Uh-huh.
threw a piece of meat on my plate and he said, Here you go, hog.
We can
I
laugh
was like, I
about it
gotta go.
now. You laugh
Uh-huh.
about it now. We can laugh about
Yeah.
that now.
Hey, it hurt my feelings after I ate what he threw on my plate. I was like, dang, he called me the hog.
Yeah. He's
But
like,
his
I'm getting
insult
mine.
was,
I'm getting mine.
yeah, man. Yeah, we had some times, man. And we laugh about all that stuff now. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to have pops. That's what I call it.
Mm.
Have pops around. We talk about all kind of stuff, the Bible. We talk about politics. You know what I'm saying? And strangely enough, I know more about it than he does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because I never start following politics, man. I want to get in that thing until the election of Obama. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, hey, so much noise going on. Let me see what's going on.
yeah. I
But
can
otherwise,
relate to that. I didn't really get really involved in
mhm,
politics either growing up, or even
yeah, we,
early adolescence, if you will.
yeah.
And I
So
still ain't.
what did you tell me what you did for your dad? I know you say y'all didn't really do nothing, but
No,
any
we
particular
never.
Father's Day?
I don't have any memory of doing anything with him.
Hmm.
You know, significantly on Father's Day. Usually it was whatever Dad wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Which wasn't much. His idea of, you know, he's doing it. He does it today. He just sits around and watches the television because he didn't get to. You know, he didn't get those luxuries much. You know, so
Hmm. I can relate to what he's talking about, man. Hey, man, what he's doing. He's like, yo, it kind of remind me of my grandmother. My grandmother, she got to a point, she was like, I'm tired and I'm done. And she was
mhm.
done.
Yeah.
Homegirl just sat there in that little chair, little wooden chair that she had, and just watched God's creation.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She would sit there on the porch, and if I come down, I used to go walk down the house, and she would just I just ask her about the historic days, about the Hoover days, and all of that kind of stuff. I was always interested in the times, those old times, man. It seemed like they was rough, but seemed like they loved each other a lot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had to because they needed to stick together to
Yeah.
survive. But she wasn't bitter. She never was bitter about, probably some hard times and different mindset back then, but she never complained about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's strange. She always had a positive outlook. She would find something funny to say about it, if anything. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, that was all, man. Pops, I'm sorry. I apologize on Great Beers. Didn't do you right. But since then, since I became grown, I've done a lot.
Yeah. You know,
I
not
bought
to.
some really nice toys for you, Pops.
Yeah, we could. That's a whole episode. We could talk about that, the lawnmower and what you.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Like, that's just
I
my
don't know. My
appreciation
dad
because,
doesn't. My dad typically don't watch the show, so you know, you think he
yeah.
would. You think he would
Hmm.
look, you know, because I put a link on. I usually put a link to the show on Facebook, so I know he knows
Hmm.
Bookface. So you would, but I don't know if he knows to click the link to watch the show.
Hmm.
Um, I'll have to ask him when I talk to him.
Hmm. Yeah, he has the look of a Steelers fan type thing, hard working man's team. He don't like football, or he don't like the Steelers, or both.
He he doesn't follow sports at all. He was more
Wow.
he huh?
I said, wow.
Uh,
Yeah. Being up
Now
there
when he
was
was
y'all proud history.
yeah, when he was younger, he did play a little bit. He was pretty. I mean, my dad was a pretty stout. He's pretty stout dude. I mean,
Hmm.
his forearms are like Popeye. Just
Yeah.
I mean, he was a strong dude, very strong.
Yeah.
He's paying
Hmm.
for it now. He's paying for those years, just as I and probably you will growing up. Them years of roughhousing and doing things
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
you know at the time you didn't think much of it because you healed quicker. you know
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
damages, you know, both my shoulders are poppers and my,
Hmm.
you know, knees and joints anymore. When I wake up in the morning, it's like, you know, you see me messing
Hmm.
with my neck all the time. I'm constantly
Yeah.
um, getting uncomfortable, comfortable. But yeah, he's paying for those days now, man. I mean, he would tell me stories when he was younger. One of his jobs was so my grandfather, his dad,
Hmm.
um, would had a trucking company and they hauled whatever, whether
Hmm.
they were glass, clinkers. I don't know if you know what clinkers are, but
No.
so clinkers is what they call it's a byproduct of burning coal. These like crystallized clinker, like ash,
Okay. Hmm.
and they would haul a lot of the schools where I grew up were heated by coal, right? So they would
Hmm.
have all the ash would have to get removed. So my dad, and they had these big 50, 55-gallon drums, and he would tell me stories of those drums filled with these clinkers, and he'd have to haul it out of the school. It wasn't like they were easy to get to, so he'd carry these 55-gallon drums and carry them.
Probably about 5 days out of been unemployed.
Yeah, yeah. He
If I
was.
can
My dad
find.
was pretty quite um quite quite the. There's a picture. I don't know where it is. I might have if I can find it. I will of him when he was a teenager. And my mom always said, "You look just like your dad." And
Mm,
the um, my dad is like little tiny waist, burly dude in a white t-shirt and jeans.
hmm.
As you can see in the picture here, to this
Yeah.
day, he still wears a white t-shirt. That's his.
Yeah, man. I think that's a trademark catch from his era. My daddy do too. He wear a
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt with everything. That's why
Yeah,
he ain't got those stains on his arm like me. You know what I'm saying? He can wear that white t-shirt. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Now his arms, you can see on his arms, and I noticed it on mine. As you get older, you start getting scarring and sun
Hmm.
damage on your arms. I don't know if you have that. Maybe that's just a white guy thing. I don't know, but
Yeah, this brown stuff, hive stuff.
you're blessed with that
Yeah.
melanoma.
So
Is it
blessing. Yeah.
melanoma,
Melanin, something like that.
melanin? Yeah,
Yeah.
melanoma. I think that's like a cancer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
No, yeah. But anyway, there, everybody, if
Hmm.
write down what you down there in them comments down there, what y'all did for Father's Day. I can tell you stuff I did for Mother's Day, but I don't remember doing a lot. My dad didn't want to do nothing. He's like, oh, if it's my day, I'm not doing. Damn it, you know.
Man, hey, that's one thing my dad did. He passed that trait down to me. I'm like,
Mm.
it's Father's Day. I don't give a doggone about that. I might not cut these people grass. Hopefully, they ain't watching Great Peace Day.
Yeah,
Because I'm
hopefully
like, you
they.
know what? It's Father's Day. I might
Yeah,
just kill some people on my video game.
yeah. I
Hmm.
did play a little bit yesterday. Played some.
Hmm.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I
So,
did
yeah, you
that
started out about the world too, man. I know it's Father's Day, but what's going on in this world? You
in
mentioned
the
that to
world.
me.
Yeah, well, talk a little bit about the world. Is
What's playing?
obviously big news. I want to get your opinion on one
What you
thing.
got?
The other thing, the one thing about the world, the Iran Israel thing going on, that's not
Hmm.
good, man. There's some biblical stuff. There's some biblical stuff in that should be concerning for prophecy, if you will. Uh,
I got a strange twist on that one of these days. I'm gonna have to share it with you.
yeah, I mean that's
Hmm.
what I mean. There's talk in the Bible about Persia, you know, um, attacking Israel. It's in the Bible.
Yeah, people talk about Ezekiel 38,
Hmm.
39. You
Hmm.
got a coalition between Russia, Iran, which was old Persia,
Right.
and some of the African countries and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Turkey's in there and Syria
Yeah,
and
I think Turkey's in there. Yep.
yeah. But
Yeah. So we'll see.
yeah,
You
it's
know.
supposed to. I mean, I just saw enough this morning that Iran got some missiles through into Israel. So
Hmm.
drones, if you will, missiles, whatever.
With Israel,
The Iron
yeah,
Dome had
it seems to work, huh?
it
Work pretty
does, but
good.
it ain't foolproof. That's for sure. So
That's true. I mean, a couple gonna get through, you know.
yeah.
But I'm surprised they haven't hit any our resources yet. At least I haven't heard that they have. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that, but
No, I
what
mean,
we're
it's just
doing.
news. No, we
Uh,
can't say what we're doing, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we can talk about what they doing. What the
I
news say.
haven't heard anything about what the U.S. response is, other than some of the um, armament that Israel's using was U.S.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
manufactured, if you will.
yeah, gotcha. So yeah, but yeah, man, that's a big thing, and in the world war, anytime you got war going on, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
And then the implications everybody's putting out there. This is it. This is it. This was prophesied to happen, man. Da, 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 blah blah blah. And then you got those mugs that's against it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They protesting. Ooh, well, it's big. You know, Israel's wrong. Like they protested when Israel got. They was having a party at the beach, and these Hamas dudes rolled up in boats and everything else, and kidnapped, killed, murdered, and Israel was somehow still wrong. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
The holy day for the mother.
You're just supposed to take it because there's been so much wrong, in Gaza, I guess. It's just an
Yeah,
excuse.
it's atrocity. They just get payback. They get to do
Yeah.
this and get a freebie.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough about the whole, I just don't agree with it. And then
Mhm.
you know, the LA riots and the president bringing in the military to
Yeah,
quell because the governor of California refuses to, you know.
yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, but this is not new. I mean, sometimes the federal government have to step in. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
the local government
Well, they
can't
did it
or
back
won't.
in they did it in '63 in Alabama when the integration they you
Yeah.
know
The Watts riots, I think they brought federal troops in there in
mhm.
Los Angeles. They was having the riots out there.
Yeah, but
Just different
I
times.
think the big difference is with that one was that the governor requested assistance, whereas
Oh yeah.
Alabama they didn't,
Yeah,
L.A.
they
they
had to
didn't,
force these guys in. Yeah, I got you. But it
and
was like,
that's what
we
they're
ain't
up.
gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Sit there and let these hooligans destroy your city,
That's
injure
what he was gonna do.
property and people, and I
Hmm.
don't understand it. He was just gonna let L.A. burn too.
Let it burn.
The Palisades is already burnt to the ground.
Yeah,
But I digress. It is what it
yeah.
is. But we don't. We still got a few minutes. But I wanted to talk to you about something in the Bible.
What you got?
You've heard this phrase. I didn't do my proper research, but I was listening to something earlier where it says in the Bible it talks about iron sharpens iron,
Yeah.
where one man sharpens another.
Yes, sir.
Now,
It
what do you
happens
make
every day at Absent.
every day is
We
right?
sharpen iron. Iron sharpens iron, baby.
Because you guys give me a lot of grief about my bluntness, if you will.
Hmm.
My it ain't witty retort, that's for sure. But how
Hmm.
I've always done this, right? I don't
Hmm.
I don't sugarcoat things. I put it's right out there, and I offend a lot of people that way because they take offense.
Hmm.
But that's kind of my way of sharpening up, right?
Hmm.
I challenge people to do better because I fail all the time. I am the biggest failure in the world. A
Hmm.
man's got to know his limitations, and a person that I guess it's kind of like so people understand where I'm coming from is like I want you to be your best because one,
Hmm.
I fail at it, but I feel I can help others by my mistakes where I have failed.
Hmm.
Um, but I see a lot of people wanting they misinterpret that as it's some kind of come together and uh, be sugarcoat shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm not a sugarcoater. Let's scrape that garbage away and let's get to the real problem, right?
Hmm.
Where a lot of people, I guess that's my version of one man sharpens another. and it's not to hold
Hmm.
their hand through a process or to. Uh, Sometimes you got to encourage people. I got that. Don't get me wrong. Encouragement does is a good thing, but if you don't call somebody out for their where they're failing
Hmm.
or challenge them in a way that you end up, and I feel that's where society has gone to this, kinder, gentle. It's not their fault. They're not right in the head. That's just,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get your perspective on just that, not me, but that in
At first,
society wise,
yeah, yeah.
we don't challenge our young men or, women to.
You're right, man. I mean, well, one, iron sharpens iron. I mean, it's necessary. I mean,
Sparks are
you
going to
kind of,
fly. Sparks
yeah,
fly
they're
when
gonna fly.
yeah,
Sparks gonna fly. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, it when I was coming up in the military, was in a very diverse type atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I had to toughen up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could have thank God they didn't have some of these programs that they got now.
Of course.
But I realized that if I toughen up, that people you mesh together. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, these cats, I had some cats out there that were saying a whole lot of offensive things. What would be considered but offensive by the today's standard, right? But really, it was being inquisitive. So I
Yeah.
fired back. I learned to fire back, and they was like, "Shoot, he's one of us." And then it was just what we did. It was just like that iron, just sharper than iron. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, it was one sided. It was just them throwing lead down range,
Initially,
and
yeah,
then
for both of us. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
exactly, and then
Yeah.
fired back, and then it was like, "Well, shucks, man. Okay, well, shoot, you see." We're the same. You know what I'm saying? We're the same kind of people, and everybody grew from it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get a sharp knife by slicing butter.
No.
You need two pieces of iron to sharpen this thing to make a worthy tool.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, man. I think it's I'm Bible man too. I believe, and yeah, that's what it is. I think Solomon said that iron sharpens iron, baby. You can't just sugarcoat everything. There's a time. I think that's why God made women. No, I'm probably gonna go to jail for that. But they'll put a little
They are
some
more of
ladies,
the nurturer, right?
yeah,
They,
yeah.
that's it's in their DNA. Most women. Some women can.
Now
I'll
there's
tell
some
you
women out
what.
there that stick it
Uh,
to you now. They'll just tell you straight. You know what I'm
women.
saying? There's some out there that's extremely blunt.
I'll tell you
But
what. Um, I think women can be some of the more cruel, if you were. Um,
they
Now
give
we're
you
not
their
talking.
time.
I'm not talking about, berating people or making fun of them for whatever. That has nothing to do with sharpening, right?
It's part of it though. I mean,
And
that's
there
part of
is
it.
there is says we got 10 minutes. There is some to that, but it's really not the intent, right?
No, it's to make a
Of
person perform. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got to do this. We throw jabs at each other.
Yeah, but
At the job.
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you are trying to help someone see the error of their ways and to sharpen them into doing the right thing. I'm not talking about sitting there making fun of Kyle because he drives a Ford. I'm not talking about that. That
You know
doesn't really.
what though?
Now, if it
Hey
went down
man,
the road for him to see the light that they're garbage, maybe. Yeah.
hey, you know what?
I'm
You
just
made him
being,
think about
I'm
the
just,
kind of
I'm just
tire.
messing with you, Kyle. Um, I like
But
Ford
yeah,
trucks, but they're
like
not.
I got some relatives, right? And usually I don't be blunt. I'm not blunt until the last minute, right? You
Yeah.
force me into it. I
Yeah.
don't have time to put any sugar on it. You know what I'm saying? I got to just tell you straight. You totally mucking up. And there's consequences. If you like when I'm out there doing my job, I'm a different person when I'm out there doing yards. You know what I'm saying? That's my goddamn money. I
Well,
need you to
that's a
perform.
direct reflection on you.
Yes, right. It's
That's
you
good.
darn right.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll give you a couple examples and then it's gonna start getting uh crucial.
yeah,
My language is gonna change. And
yeah. Well,
now and
you're constantly you're affecting my reputation, and then you're not helping to sharpen me. You know,
affecting my
you're dulling my
income.
blade. You know what I'm saying? You're
Telling that. Yeah, man, we gotta get it. We gotta get this work. You know what I'm saying? But while when I'm out there, yeah, I'm gonna say this here. God checks me. He's like, Sharp, this is how you want these dudes to perform. You gotta perform the same way. When you're somebody's truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shucks, God. He's like, yeah, you got the God now he don't play. He don't
yeah.
sugarcoat stuff. He just tells me. Just go straight to the heart. Like, dude,
Well, it's kind of like lead by example, right? We were always taught that
that's
lead
right.
by example. I mean, you can't be showing up late for work when you expect your employees to be on time, right?
He did doggone right. And he checks me on that. He's like, yo, dude, you on this cat? Check yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Bob would do that to me sometime. I tell him little stories about Jada, right? And he'll call me Jada. I don't know if y'all caught on to what he was doing.
I don't,
Yep,
to be
Jada.
honest with you, he he will sit back there and it's like telling secrets. He's whispering secrets to you.
They don't want y'all to hear it.
Mhm.
But
But
but anyway, he'll call
and
me
he'll do
Jada
that.
something.
He'll does that because it's just a conversation between the two of you. It's not. He doesn't want anybody else.
It can be corporate for as I'm concerned, but yeah, I guess he's like, yo, man,
Yeah.
I don't want this to get out to everybody. Jada. You know what I'm saying? He'll call
Hmm.
me Jada sometime. But he's right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can take it. You know what I'm saying? If you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, iron sharpens iron. I think we need that in America. I have been reluctant to um I know it's necessary. I got family members that need some iron to sharpen some iron sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like,
Well,
man,
that's a
I don't want to hurt
and
their
I
feelings.
well see a lot of people that have watched the show probably have gotten a good feeling of how you are, where it is.
Hmm.
Sometimes me, you and I conversation is where I'm like, dude, you're just enabling their bad habit, and
Hmm.
you acknowledge that. You'll be like, yeah, I know, but I'm looking. I want to get away from this, issue. And if I can
Hmm.
take and just hit that, what we like to tease you about the easy button.
You're gonna take
We
the
all
easy
like
button away.
we don't get me wrong. We all like the easy button, but the problem is that easy button. Your arm is going to get tired from hitting that easy button because a lot of times
Hell yeah.
it'll create a problem, more of a problem than it will solve.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the long way home, because eventually I get medieval.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then when I do, I look like a monster, right? And I know I'm looking like a monster. You know what I'm saying? When I turn into what I would consider Wayne Krebs,
Mm,
it's crucial, bro. It's I can get surgical with this shotgun. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, oh my God, was it that bad? I'm like, look, this junk been piling up. Okay, now it's time to unload. So yeah, and it's effective, but dang, it's like you should have did this from the beginning. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's
you're
you.
right. I,
You're at the beginning. We didn't have to go through a crop of corn.
mm,
You're down to the last stalk and you're trying to save that one.
my my
You know what I'm
my
saying?
my dog is sitting there trying to get my attention. She needs something, so
Like it's
she's like
time for
right.
a
I know
treat.
you can't. She's like right here
Yeah,
bugging me, and I'm like, what do you want? What do you
yeah.
want? But yeah, sorry. My apologies. My
Yeah,
dog
but
is
I'll say this here, man. My daddy is he's a straight up shooter, right? This dude just shoots straight all the time. But
Yeah, my dad, I will tell you, my dad, it's hard to explain because growing up, right? Going circle back to dads to fathers and how they my dad sharpened me, right? We've all heard the adage, hold the light, I can't see, right?
Hmm.
My dad be like, here, hold the light. So he's working on something. There was always something. My dad was always, these are years ago, um, that we were fixing something. Always something would need to be fixed or repaired or done or whatever. And he would, and I learned, growing up that it's always good to have a helper, but he was sharpening me. He's like, you're going to have to do this kind of stuff when you get older. And
Hmm.
I tell you stories about how young I was mowing the yard, right? And you can't to this today it would be like they would be calling child protective services on some of the stuff I had to do.
Man,
You know,
yeah. Hmm.
I remember I mean, I know I was less than probably 7 or 8 years old, and I'm out there mowing the yard, right? 7, 8-year-old kid mowing the yard. I got a push reel mower, you know.
Yeah. I didn't have that. I had a gas
That came
operated.
up. Yeah, my dad realized that I was struggling to do that because it was just too hard to push. I mean, I'm like this tall,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and then I remember the mower that he bought or they bought, and that was expensive. That's a lot of money, right? When you had 20
Yeah.
bucks in your pocket, you were good for a long time. You could get a
Hmm.
lot of stuff and do a lot. That was a lot of money, $20. I think my parents only paid. I forget what they paid for their first house, but it wasn't a lot. It was less than $10,000, you know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they paid it off probably. Well, it was probably by the time I was in fourth grade, they had paid that house off. So
Okay.
they they owed nothing, and they bought a new house and they rented that other one. But I'm like, it was just my dad doing things that I didn't really appreciate at the time because I didn't know. But we
Man. Yeah.
got about a minute. Final thoughts, sir.
Kind of thoughts. Most profound thing my daddy ever said to me. I was driving this 1980 Bonneville. I had just got fired from Burger King. I was driving like a wild man.
Mm,
And I pulled up in the driveway and he's up here. Son, why are you driving my devilish car like that? I said, I got fired. He said, there's more stupid jobs out there. Most profound thing he ever said to me. Don't get too caught up on stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's more stupid jobs out there.
that's right.
That's me, man. Thanks,
Yeah,
Pops. Changed my life.
I don't know if I can't think of anything. It's awesome that you have profound.
Mhm.
Anyways, thanks for watching,
Yes.
everyone. I appreciate it. Have a happy Father's Day. Hit the like, subscribe, whatever, comment. We appreciate the
Happy Father's
feedback.
Day, Rick.
Yeah, and you should